Hello, Carver, Plimpton, and Halifax. How are you? It's good to be with you. It's always good to be with you. I don't come alive till I'm in front of you. Welcome to the Ken Simmons Show, the fastest 30 minutes on television. I have a guest with me today, as always. She's very interesting, as always, and you're going to enjoy her. So, especially you people in Halifax, pay close attention. I want to talk just for a few minutes about the local political situation. I keep looking for something interesting and upbeat to say, and I can't find anything, but I did the other day. Did you watch the Golden Globe Awards? Did you see Oprah Winfrey? I thought she was magnificent. Of course, I love that lady anyway. I think she's terrific. Here's a lady who brought herself up. She had a bad childhood, you know. There's a lot of things about her I could tell you, but I'm not going to do that. I just want to say that she had one of the top television talk shows going. She was terrific. And now there's a possibility she may be running for president. How about that? President Winfrey in 2020. I'd like to know what you think about that. You know our telephone number here, 508-866-1019. Phone in your comments. What do you think about President Winfrey? Those of you that love President Trump won't go for it at all. I know that. But I'm not a political junkie. I'm not going to tell you who I'm for or who I'm not for. I'm for all of them. He's the president of my country, and that's fine with me. But watch Oprah Winfrey. I think it's the beginning of her campaign, and I think it's great. Okay, one more thing I'd like to talk about very briefly, and I wish I could get somebody to come on with me. I keep issuing that invitation. Nobody takes me up on it. This harassment thing has got me bothered. It's been going on for a long, long time. As you know, I was a hairstylist for a lot of years, and I dealt exclusively with women. And women, once they get to know you and trust you, they become pals. And you can't have a better pal. I think they're fantastic friends. They'll do anything for you if they like you, if they trust you, and if you treat them like a human being instead of an object. And I see nothing wrong with that. So here we are now with the harassment thing. If I was a young guy today, I don't know if I'd be able to date a girl. I wouldn't know what to say or what to do. They tell me, you know, at my age, it takes them 40 years to complain about a harassment they had. 40 years. So at my age, if I harass a female, I will be 128 by the time she says something about it. So I'm not going to worry about that. I'm not going to worry about anything. I just want to worry about doing a good show for you because I love you. Be right back. Okay, we're back. And I'm going to introduce you to my guest in just a minute. But before that, during the monologue, I mentioned a little bit about the harassment thing that's going on and how the women are now gathering their forces to combat that kind of thing. I was in a coffee shop before I came on the show today. And this guy came in, and the young lady behind the counter said, "Can I help you?" And he said, "You sure can, sweetheart." Then she said to him, "Sir, I'm nobody's sweetheart. I'm here to serve you, and that's as far as that goes." And I said to myself, wow, here we go. Here in the little town of Carver, it's already reached here. And I think it's great. It's going to be interesting to watch what happens. All right, enough of that baloney and enough of my yakking. I'm going to introduce you to my guest now. She's from Halifax, so you people in the town of Halifax, this concerns you. It concerns everybody, really, but it concerns you probably more than it does anybody else. So Pay close attention to my guest, Barbara Benton. Hi, Barbara.
Hi, Ken.
How are you?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
I appreciate you coming down here in such lousy weather, and I know that television is not your favorite thing to do, but you feel you owe it to the people to
That's
come
right.
on and tell them a few things. And
Yes.
I really appreciate that. I
You're
think it's
welcome.
great. How long have you been the head of the COA?
I've been there almost 8 years this September,
8
Ken. Yep.
What did you do before that?
Well, I've been in the field for a long time. Before that, I was in Avon, Council on Aging Director, for 2.5 years. And before that, I was in Old Colony Elder Services in Brockton, which is ASAP, Aging Service Access Point for
Brockton,
services.
huh?
Yep, I did senior whole health and I did supportive housing. I was the first supportive housing staff that went to Bel Air Towers in Brockton to give them services through
That's
Old
the Housing
Colony.
Authority.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
one of the housing authorities.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
Do you have children?
Yep. I have 3 children, 2 boys and a girl.
And how old are they? Do you mind me?
Oh my goodness, yeah. One of them's almost 40, my oldest son, and he has 2 little boys. And my
So you're a grandma.
I'm a grandma, yeah. And my middle son is, how old is he? He's about 35, and he has a little daughter who's adorable. And my youngest daughter just got married in May. And so that was a beautiful wedding, and we were all there and had a great time.
Oh, that's great. That's great. That's.
She's a year younger, so she's about 34.
Are any of your children into the age thing, or the housing thing, or the elderly thing?
Not yet, you know. One's in, finances, and,
Yeah.
one's in service work. She works with people and does a great job.
Oh, that's great.
But not quite yet. Still.
How did you get into what you're doing with the elderly? You seem.
Well, that's an interesting question. Years ago, my parents, it was through my parents. My mother was sick. She had COPD. And it was through helping my dad, and I went to the senior center in Hanson for the first time, and that's where I was absolutely amazed with all the services and the programs and the information and referral that they have for people out there. I said, why don't we hear more about this? So it was through helping both my parents as they got sick and passed, that I learned about it. And that's when I made a choice. I went back to school, got my master's, took me 4 years. I had a teaching degree in phys ed and health education. Never really had a chance to teach full time, but I subbed when the children were young. And then I made the switch, and I took the gerontology from UMass Boston. I was in on the beginning, the second graduating class, which was really exciting.
Wow.
And, here I am.
So there's a course in gerontology?
There is, yeah, the study of aging and aging in place, yep, out of UMass Boston.
And apparently that's rather a new course,
Well, it was at the time. It's probably been 8 years since I've graduated. Yes, 8 years. And it still continues, and there's also a PhD in the same area.
Really?
If I ever want to go back.
Do you think you might go for your doctorate?
I don't know. Maybe. Well, we'll see what the
Yeah.
future brings.
A lot of work,
Yeah, it is a lot of work.
especially where you're working full time, and you've got a very responsible job. What's your title?
Director of the Council on Aging.
Director of the COA. Somebody said to me, I said I was going to do a show with the director of the Council on Aging, and I said COA, and he said COA, isn't that a government agency that has spies? I said, no, that's CIA, Central Intelligence Agency. They said, what's the COA?
Yeah.
And I said, COA, we could say COA. It's an acronym for Council on Aging. And he said, what the devil is Council on Aging? Does it teach you how to get old? And I wondered about that. Is that what that's all about? That teaching us how to get old or grow old gracefully? Or?
I guess you could look at it in that terms. I think for the most part, many people have no idea what we do, and it's very difficult to get the word out. We have a monthly newsletter, on many activities and programs and events, a lot of social events, so people don't have to be alone, So there's a place for them to come. It's like a drop-in center. Senator Brady will be coming in a few weeks.
We'll talk about that a little
Yes.
later. Yeah.
So he'll be coming for any questions that anyone has. We have a lot of educational seminars and presentations throughout the year. Luncheons. We serve lunch, 5 days a week, a hot lunch. It's only $2.50 donation. So somebody comes in off the street and they need food, we have to service them. Even if they have a penny or if they have no money at all, that's one of our responsibilities.
My jaw is dropped because I know very little about the COA. But let me just tell you a quick story. We have a COA here in Carver, and I think it's a part-time director. You're full-time.
Yeah, they're all different. Throughout the state, most of them are part-time, but there's still some that are part-time.
Now, do you have to have a degree in gerontology to get a directorship?
Most of them now, you need a social working degree or a degree in gerontology or a 4-year degree. Yes, it depends on who's hiring you and what their requirements are.
Yeah.
But I actually have to come up with all that on the job descriptions.
Yeah.
Like we just our outreach worker retired 2 years ago, so then we have to put out the job description and that out into the town for so many days, and then start interviewing people that are qualified. So we're responsible for those job descriptions and what goes into them.
You mentioned outreach director. I want to talk about that in the next segment. Would you recommend your job as a career for somebody?
Oh, it's definitely, yeah.
Really?
It's
You enjoy it?
Yep,
you like
I
what you're
enjoy
doing?
it. Yep, there's a lot to the job that I think, like you said, most people have no idea, unless they're directly involved and they're
we're going to
looking.
get into that a little deeper
Okay.
because I think that the people should know what is available to them and how much it costs, if anything. Where you're located, your number. Do you have a website?
Yep,
Don't give
the
it
town.
to me yet.
Yep,
We're
the
gonna
town
get
has a
that
website.
Next segment. We're just about through with this segment. So, is there anything you'd like to say before we wind up this segment?
I'm very proud that we help a lot of people. We do have the stats.
You have a right to be.
Yeah, and even people that have come in, homeless people from, say, the police station, people don't know where to send them. That was a few years ago, and actually there was one last year as well that wasn't even a senior. They were under 60 years of age, and that we were able to help.
What classifies a senior? What age?
Well, usually it's statewide, it's 60 or older.
60 or older.
Yeah,
Okay.
from Massachusetts' point of view. But we were able to help 2 years ago.
I'm interested because someday I'm going to be old. Look, I think this is a very interesting subject. So I want you now to take off your shoes, pour yourself your favorite beverage, and pay close attention to this next segment because it's going to be more on what is the COA all about. So we'll be right back. Don't go away. Okay, we're back, and of course, she hasn't got disgusted with me and left. She's still here. Nice to see you again, Barbara.
Nice
How
to
you
be
feeling?
here.
Everything okay?
Yep, everything's wonderful. Glad to be here.
When I asked her to come on the show, she said, what am I going to say? I don't know what to say. You can't shut her up when she gets started. She gets going, she gets going, which is great, It's good. All right, COA. COA stands for Council on Aging. How old is the Council on Aging? How long has that been around in the various towns?
Well, in our town, it's probably been, a little over 20 years.
Well, 20 years.
Yeah.
And your building is across from the town hall. It's across from the town hall, by the way, on Route 106. And there's a sign out there that says the Pope Tavern.
Pope's Tavern.
Does it also say Council on Aging?
It says Pope's Tavern Senior Center. So some people call it a senior center, other people call it Council on Aging.
All right, let's get that squared away right now. Senior Center and Council on Aging means the same.
Yes.
So don't be confused, because these places are for you if you're 60 or older, and you should use them. If you're alone, like I am, you need to be social. If you isolate yourself, that's a very dangerous thing to do. And I won't go into that because I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychiatrist, but I've been told that if you isolate yourself, you stay away from people, you're going to have a lousy life, and you don't need to. So, with that in mind, do you have a website?
We do. Halifax has their own website, and when you get into it, you just go to departments, go to Council on Aging.
What's the Halifax website? Halifax.com?
Yeah.
Halifax.com.
Yeah.
Do that.
And it'll come
then
right
go,
up.
Then go to the Council on Aging?
Departments, yeah. Up above it will say departments. You pull down the pull down, and it will say Council on Aging.
And you've got phone numbers in there?
Yep. Yes.
All right. And so, again, you can use that. If you've got a computer, go to the Council on Aging and pull up your phone numbers. Okay, does it cost anything to become a member of the Council on Aging?
The only cost is through our Friends of the Senior Center, Friends of the Council on Aging. They're called Generations, and they have a membership drive every year in October, and it's about a $5 donation a year, and they fundraise for the Council on Aging. Like right now, we're in the middle of a renovation project, and so right now, I think they have about $20,000 that they've raised through the past,
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's taken a long time, $20,000 won't go too far when you're buying new furniture and tables and chairs, but they do a marvelous job. They have a lot of little fundraisers, and we might even be starting one playing cribbage on Sunday nights also too at the Senior Center for $5 a person. So they're looking at doing that soon. So that's the only fee.
Is there any tax money that goes towards the Council on Aging?
Our budget right now is about $8,880, the budget. That's what we have to get through the year with, paper and supplies and machine maintenance and our 2 vans. We have 2 senior vans, which I'm very proud of. It's through Department of Transportation in Boston and through a grant that the town had to pay about 10% for. And so they're getting a little bit older now. It's 2012 and 2014 vans, and where we don't have public transportation, we go into Boston to the major medical facilities for only $30.
Really?
The same as what Batch
I didn't know
charges.
you provided that service.
Oh yes, we provide a lot of
You
services.
take somebody in there and back for $30?
Yeah. And we're
When
proud.
you take them in there, do you wait for them?
We have to, yeah, once we
Yeah.
bring them in. Unless we're just dropping them off for a hospitalization or a surgery, and then we come right back out.
That's pretty doggone good.
Yes, it's a
I
wonderful
didn't know you
service.
provided that service.
Yes.
We have a GATRA here. Do you have that?
No, we don't have access to the GATRA, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Someday maybe we're hoping. But
Here in Carver, GATRA and Council on Aging are linked somehow.
yeah.
Do you know about that?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we've looked into GATRA, so
Oh.
like I said, we weren't able to get that service, so we have the vans through DOT, and we charge a very minimal fee also. We try to keep the fees down, and so far, it's been going well, and proud that we can do this for the seniors. Plus, we bring them, all over southeastern Massachusetts to medical appointments, which is our #1 with the vans, and pharmacy runs, Coumadin checks. We do grocery shopping twice a week, and Walmart and errands. We do special trips. We have Keep Walking group that does trips from, spring until fall. And, luncheon shops where they'll go out shopping, and then they'll go out to lunch and back again. It just keeps going and going. We do special events, Christmas events. Massasoit had a special Christmas concert, which was free for the seniors. And once in a while, we will let them ride free, but it doesn't happen all the time because that's kind of keep it's what keeps the vans running, you know.
Okay, but I'm still not clear. The question I asked was, any tax money go into the Council on Aging? Salaries?
Yeah, the salaries, yep.
Okay.
The town meeting, you know, we vote them in every May, you know. We have 3 full-time people, myself, the outreach worker, and transportation coordinator / receptionist.
What's an outreach?
Outreach is a whole, yeah, and I would like to have them come to do another program. They do a lot of telephone reassurance calls to people. You know, like lately we've had people that pipes are frozen. They get home from hospital rehab. They have no family. They have.
Are these volunteers?
No, we have
paid?
full-time. Yes, full-time outreach. Yes, you know, a lot of the times they can be social workers. You know, so they visit. They do a lot of home visits. They help them with paperwork. You know.
Is there anything that the people of Halifax that are looking for something to do, maybe, is there any volunteer
yes,
openings?
we have a huge, we just had 6 people fill out volunteer applications, and I run Corey's, and we put 2 to work with Meals on Wheels today, actually, because we also do Plimpton Meals on Wheels, so we have double. You know,
oh, you do Plimpton Meals?
Yes.
Does Plimpton have a COA?
They do. They have part-time Council on Aging. They don't really have a building yet, you know, and that's why it's hard for them to not be able to do the Meals on Wheels. So we've been doing their Meals on Wheels for at least 2.5 to 3 years.
Oh, gee.
So we have volunteers that do Plimpton Monday through Friday, volunteers that do Halifax Monday through Friday, and a meal site manager that oversees all that from Old Colony that is stationed at our Council on Aging, Maria.
So, because you're elderly and because you're alone, that doesn't mean you have to give up hope.
No, that's right. Because we have lots of people that come in. We just, right now, as we're speaking, we have a best breakfast going on. So we have a gang of volunteers that come in that are retired that make a beautiful breakfast, and it's a donation. They can put anything in the basket for homemade food, and it goes from 9 to 10, the second Tuesday of every month. It's Laura Sullivan and Dave Thurston and the gang. And the money goes to St. Vincent de Paul Food Pantry.
Oh, that's great.
So
that's
isn't
good.
that so?
That's
We do a lot to give back
That's
and help
great.
back. But they're all volunteers. You know, we have volunteers that will drive people if our vans, you know, can't. We have, you know, volunteers for the kitchen, reception, filing. You know, volunteers to do all sorts of things.
That's so great. That's so great. You said something that came to mind, and I wanted to ask you about it. And because of my age, it flew right out of my mind. But so that you can volunteer for the Council on Aging. That's what I was going to ask you. You mentioned lunch.
Yes.
$2.50.
Only $2.50
Only.
donation, and that's yes.
Now, is that cooked right there at your?
No, it comes through Old Colony Elder Services, and if there's at least.
Do you have to order it in advance?
Yes, 2 days in advance.
Okay.
Yes, usually.
And would you take it home with you, or do you eat it there? Or?
No, it's a hot lunch right there. You know, 12 o'clock. We do it every day, Monday through Friday at 12 o'clock. You know, I suppose they could take it home if they wanted, but they eat it right on site. And
Do you
again,
have a big crowd there?
Depends on what day. We do on Wednesdays,
Yeah.
and sometimes we do special lunches also. We have other volunteers that cook it right there.
For $2.50.
Yeah, the special lunches might go a little bit more, you know, but the community lunch, as Old Colony calls it, it's every day, Monday through Friday, $2.50.
That's great.
It
They
is
could
great.
get
It's a
together
place
with
for-
friends and sit down and have a hot lunch.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
And then stay for a program that we have afterwards, or, you know, we have many different things that go on. We have a coloring group that meets on Thursdays, Joy of Writing group that meets, you know, Mondays. It's a writing group. So we have many different events and activities to choose from.
All right, if I can stop you from talking for just a minute.
Okay.
I want to tell them you're in a place called the Pope Tavern, which really gets the hair on the back of my neck standing up, because that's a historical thing. When was that built?
It was the early 1800s.
Early 1800s, and that's where the COA is, and it's being renovated. You've got pictures of
I do.
what's happening?
This
I don't
is
know
the
if we can
latest design, if you can.
Come in on a close-up on that. This is the new design. We don't know much about it, but it's going to keep, I understand from Charlie Seelig, the historical significance of this lovely old building. So if you get a chance, when is that going to be completed?
Well, we've been working on it for quite a while. It was voted in last May town meeting. Just had a meeting last night with the planning board for a variance. And we should be able to break ground now, probably by this summer
Okay,
of 2018, we're hoping.
That's great. That's so great.
Yeah.
That's so great. All right, we've only got a couple of minutes left, and the camera is yours. If you'd like to say anything to the people of the town of Halifax about what you do, about what you can do, and what you will do, the camera is yours
Well,
for 30
thank you.
seconds.
Yep, and I'm very honored to work in Halifax for the past 8 years, and I'm very proud of all the staff that we have. They go over and beyond each and every day, and sometimes we do get calls and thank yous, about the work that they do. But we do have a lot of services that I think a lot of people don't know about. Monday through Friday we have a newsletter that goes out to everybody in Halifax, including the Halifax Mobile Home Park. And so there's something for everybody. And where we don't have a lot of space at our senior center, we do outsource a lot to the town hall, to Henrich Hall at the park, and the churches, Lady of the Lake Church and the Congo Church. And the library sometimes. So that's why we have ongoing chair yoga at the park on Wednesdays. We have Tai Chi at the town hall on Mondays at 11. It's all in the newsletter, and there's something for everybody. But once this renovation project goes in, hopefully we'll have the space to have everything right at the senior center. And then maybe just once in a while we'll have to outsource, for different events. But and I always invite everybody from the newsletter when I do the article, come on by, take a tour. We'll give you a tour anytime you come by. And give us a call, stop in for a cup of coffee. And also, we have Senator Brady coming. I don't know if you can get this, but he's coming February 5th, which is on a Monday, from 11 to 12. If you can key in on this. He just stopped in before the new year. And he's going to do one of his open sessions, and you can come and ask him anything you want, anything that you'd like to talk to him about with any issue. He will be there for you. So we're hoping that people will come on by and have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea and talk to him, Would be wonderful.
All right. Very well done. Well done. Well done. Barbara Benton, thank you so much for coming here today. Let's do this again.
Yes.
There's a lot to talk about.
There is a lot to talk about.
Do you feel comfortable now?
I feel comfortable. Yes.
All right. Barbara Benton, Halifax COA. If you're feeling lonely, you want to meet some people, come down and talk to this sweet person. She's a lovely lady. I'm not saying that because she's sitting beside me with a heavy handbag. She really is a lovely person. So, until next time, I'm going to have another guest. I'm going to be back. The next guest I've got coming is, I'll let that be a surprise. Until then, keep a song in your heart. Goodbye, and God bless.